You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, yesterday on the show, we were all talking about the amazing partying that was going on with the Washington Capitals. And, hey, if you win the Stanley Cup, I mean, go for it, right?
For sure.
Ovechkin had been partying for like 48 hours straight. This guy is like out.
Russian. He's Russian, so remember
he
that.
is. He's Russian a frat is what he's doing.
Yes.
Because, my gosh, how this guy was drinking was unbelievable. He's drinking out of the cup. He's in a fountain. He's swimming. They wound up having a big old parade, and they're all up there. Pretty much half of the Capitals are on stage, and they're chugging down beers. You've got Ovechkin. They're dropping F-bombs like crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's madness. Here's Ovechkin on the stage with, I don't know, tens of thousands of people in D.C. on the Great Lawn.
So many.
Yeah, the Great Mall there, just looking on these guys.
I said, not me saying, it's just us saying.
What?
We're not going to be sucked this year.
Oh!
Yeah.
We're
We're
not
the
going to be.
Stanley Cup champions.
We're not going to be sucked this year? Is that what he said?
Okay, yeah. So they're partying like maniacs, and then we go all the way to the West Coast to find out what's going on with the Golden State Warriors, and these guys are dropping $500,000 on booze.
A lot of alcohol.
I mean, my gosh, they say they were going through, I don't even know any of these brands. This is way too fancy for me. Luc Belair Rare Gold.
You have to say it like that, too.
Yeah. Lux and Rosé, 6-liter and huge 15-liter bottles.
Jeez.
$500,000 between the locker room celebration and the victory parade. So we're just seeing all this massive amount of partying going on. And then I see our friend Matt Lincoln from CBS 12 writes an article with some interesting commentary on his thoughts on all this partying. Hello and welcome to the show, Matt.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. Now tell me, because you had to take, your take is unique because I hadn't really heard anybody doing this, because your Barstool Sports are like, bro sports are completely like chest bumping these guys and saying, good for you. What are your thoughts on the massive amount of boozing, cursing, womanizing, who knows what else is happening?
Oh, womanizing. Whoa.
Well,
What are you doing
Ovechkin
there?
was on stage saying, hey, babes, bring your girls. I mean,
He was.
God, give me a break.
who knows what was going on? He's putting out the call, ladies. Bring it.
There's definitely some babes going on.
I'm feeling if given the opportunity, he's not going to say.
Of course not.
Me no say no. He's
Yeah.
going to be there. So, Matt Lincoln, what are your thoughts on this rowdy partying that's happening?
Well, I'm watching all this, and I'm struck that with, just like everyone else, I was following everything that the Capitals were doing after winning the Stanley Cup on Instagram and on Twitter, and chuckling along with everything that how they're jumping in the fountains and sleeping with the cup and all that stuff, and that's fine. And I'm totally with the fact that this is the first Cup in 44 years, and the city of D.C. hasn't been able to celebrate a championship in 30 years. But at what point did we give adults the license to go in public with not just tens of thousands of people, but thousands of kids in attendance? I mean, how many Washington, D.C. natives were like, it might be another 30 years before we win a championship. I have to bring my kids to this because this might be the only celebration parade that they get in decades. We all have to go. And so they bring them all there, and that's what happens. Those Caps up there, boozing, getting drunk, dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's for the fans.
Yeah.
When they're up there getting wasted. It's not for the fans.
No.
I got to tell you,
it's for them.
I got a couple thoughts on you, Matt Lincoln. First of all, I think you're a wet blanket. But two,
Swinging.
I don't know that you're wrong, because, yeah, you're a party pooper and you're going to be a buzzkill for me, but I might sit there and be like going, well, I don't know. It was an interesting thought, because you're right.
It's a very interesting,
well,
yes.
It brings up
With the kids there.
How much is too much? And why is this the only thing that we let these people do? What happened? You know, are we going to start letting our elected officials do this after they win an election?
Well,
I wish.
A
Fun would that be?
Well, I mean,
the cast and crew of that fish sex movie after it won the best Oscar just have to go out crazy in a big parade. In Los Angeles.
I know right now there are people that are screaming at the radio, and you're talking about this about leaders. Everyone is screaming right now about the Trump video, the grab them in the pee, and it seems like okay, everyone's doing it. It seems like we've just opened the floodgates. And this is all happening. I mean, the people who might be role models, and they would probably argue and say, look, these guys are athletes. They're not role models. When you take them out, you take your kid to the ballpark, you know there's a chance they're going to hear some profanity. They're probably going to see a drunk, and you can't shelter them from that their entire life. Right, Matt?
Okay, but why not? I mean, why can't
why not?
Expect these men? Why can't we expect these guys to be a little better? Why can't we expect them to? Okay, you don't want to be role models, fine, but we ask them, please do not commit crimes. We ask them, please do not hit your women. Why can't we ask them, please
do not celebrate?
Drink 12 Bud Lights in 10 minutes while you're on stage in front of all these people. Those people are going to cheer them anyway.
Yeah.
Those people are going to all get crazy and all get rowdy and all get happy, and they're all going to celebrate. Well, if they go up there and sing karaoke or if they go up there, do whatever. They can do whatever.
But
Matt,
Matt. But you said this yourself. You said this yourself. It's not about the fan. It's not about the fans. It's not for the fans. They go up there and celebrate for themselves. The fans don't win a championship. The team does.
Well,
this is for them.
It's a joint celebration.
Well, no,
though. I
but
mean,
it's a celebration
one big
because they're happy that they won.
Yeah.
But the team is the one that won. Why can't they celebrate?
Don't give them the stage then. Don't give them. Don't pretend that it's for the. Don't pretend like it's for the fans, because that's what the city of Washington, D.C. is pretending. You might say, well, it's obviously not for that. It is for the fans. That's why they're shutting down streets, because they're expecting the fans to be there.
But how much percentage of the fans?
But it is the thing that's for the fans. Everything else is for the players. You take the cup, you do whatever you want with it. Everything they did at Vegas on Thursday night when they won, that's all for them. But
okay, but Matt, let me ask you this. With hockey, you go to a hockey game and you take your kid to a hockey game, you're going to see a fight where they're pulverizing each other's face, and that's acceptable to have your kids see. But then when the Russian hockey players are dropping F-bombs and chugging beers on stage out of the cup, I mean, doesn't that just kind of encompass, the machismo of the sport of hockey, and shouldn't that be consistent? I mean, you take your kid to the hockey game, and see him punch another guy in the face, it's kind of along the same lines, right?
Well, NHL is trying to crack down on the punching in the face. They don't do nearly as much punching in the face as they used to.
Told you, Matt Lincoln's being the wet blanket here.
I don't want to make this out, and I don't want to make this out like I'm against the Caps or specifically against
of course not.
This specific team, because we're on this trajectory where, think about where we're going to be at next year, and if the Vegas Golden Knights win it. If Vegas Golden Knights win next year, they're going to have watched everything that the Capitals have done and feel like, well, if they can get away with all that, then we can get away with even worse.
Oh, they're going to burn down the damn city, Matt.
It's going to keep on going on and on and on.
But it can't get any worse, though, can it? I mean, other than swearing and drinking, we would surely shut down if there were like, okay. And people were losing their mind the other day because one of the chicks put it on the glass right after they won. Right. And there were boobies on TV and those kind of things were happening.
Jeez.
Yeah, but okay, and we would shut that down, right? A team would not allow chicks up there topless, right? Wouldn't you think, Matt? there's going to be a limit to this, right? We're at the limit.
I asked in that piece how much is too much, and I'm not sure.
Nudity. I think nudity is where they.
Oh, for you, Diener? Yeah.
No, I'm saying in general.
If they get
I think they cut it off there, though. At this point, if I have my 10-year-old son there, I'm going to say, okay, we shouldn't be using those words. Yes, they're going over the top. This isn't the right way to do it, but you're going to see this kind of stuff. And so it is what it is. They're happy that they won, and you probably shouldn't celebrate this way. You should probably have like celery and peanut butter and, I don't know, go for a bike ride or something. I don't know, but
just enjoy the celebration. That's what I say. You tell your kids outdoor, look, don't say those words. They're just really happy. They got overexcited. it was fun. It was all in good fun.
Matt, I loved your take on. I want to encourage people to go check out your article and leave really crazy comments for you. And if they want to blast you,
feel free.
Like
I'd
we
love
did,
to talk about this. You can you can hit me up on Twitter at Matt Lincoln TV.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry for yelling at you,
it's
Matt.
hashtag wet blanket. Hashtag wet blanket at. Okay. Matt, thanks for coming on, buddy. I always love you, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. All right. Coming up here in just a couple of minutes, there's a video that is out, and people are all over LeBron James. Is LeBron James, is he a crybaby?
Yes.
Is he playing up this broken hand too much? The video that is out today would let you believe yes. I'll let you know what's in that video coming up next.
Can't wait to break down last night's game? Yeah, not. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
I'm gullible as heck. I'm completely naive.
You and me both, man. I fell for this hook, line, and sinker.
I'm not a pessimistic guy. When somebody tells me something, I take it at face value. When LeBron James tells me that he punches a whiteboard at the end of game one, I understand the frustrations. I saw the game. I saw it in his face, and it makes complete sense. I saw a photo that looked like it showed swelling on LeBron James's hand. I'm like going, wow, this guy pretty much played with a broken hand for 3 games and played valiantly and amazingly well. People were saying, Kev, don't fall for this because this is what LeBron James does. I'm like, what does LeBron James do? I don't get this. Like, he always seems to find some kind of excuse for why something happened. I'm like, going, how are you making an excuse for how he played? I made the argument here on this show. I thought he should have been the MVP. He had the best numbers of anybody in those games. So, broken hand or not, I mean, there's no excuse that needs to be made. Well, there's a couple videos that's out, and they're on our Twitter right now if you'd like to go see the visual evidence of this at Kevin's Other Show. I think it was before game 2.
Right.
Right after he... So this should have been a very, very fresh break and wound. His hand should have been at the peak of pain. LeBron James is dropping to the ground and doing push-ups. And then he springs up. He kind of goes up on his hands and then gets up. No problem, no wincing, no issues. If you've ever had any kind of hand or pain issues, doing something like that and the movements that he made would hurt. The other one... I saw the video of him doing that crazy hand slide with his kids when he was walking off the court. I didn't understand the timeliness of it, and I thought it was the opposite hand. But they're saying for people that know, no, he's doing smacking front, smacking back, all this kind of stuff with his handshake, saying that's the hand that he supposedly broke and he had in that soft air cast after game 4. Dude's totally playing it up.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, now I can't deny it. And, I mean, should this have been something? Because to me, I think LeBron James, in my opinion, sucks up a lot of stuff and probably plays through a lot of injuries and pain that we're not even aware of because he's a man and he doesn't want to make excuses for himself.
Yeah.
So when he finally lets you know that, guys, I pretty much broke my hand punching a whiteboard after game 1, and it hurt me, that I believe LeBron James at face value.
Where the hell was this whiteboard that it hurt him so much?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, like, Amari Stoudemire punched a fire hydrant.
Yes,
and
that's right.
still played. So, I mean, he had broken glass in his hand, wrapped it up, and played.
LeBron didn't say a word until everything was over with.
Yeah.
I mean, in a whiteboard, you don't think a whiteboard couldn't break a hand?
You know,
I believe it could.
I don't know if it could break LeBron's hand, though.
Yes, it could.
The
Why
amount,
not?
the amount of mileage that man has on his body with 0 injuries, it's weird. Like, there's something going on where he's mechanically put together different.
And you know what I don't like either is when after Game 4, after the sweep was completed, you watch the post-game coverage and Brian Windhorst is on there and he's talking about how he knew about this broken hand the whole time and they weren't allowed to report it. He looked like exactly. You should have seen the look on his face. I stayed up late and watched it that night. It looked like he was reporting it on a funeral when he was talking about this broken hand. Like it was the worst thing he'd ever seen. It was so swollen. The X-rays looked really bad. He's a stooge. That's who you are, Brian Windhorst. You're a LeBron James stooge, and we've always known it, and now we know
he
it even
is.
more.
I mean, that's all. I've never seen a sports reporter in his whole career as LeBron James. And I mean, his head is so far buried up his.
Yes.
It's amazing he can run with it.
We know.
He got very dangerous there.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Windhorst has always been like that, though. But he's been covering LeBron James since he was in the womb, I believe.
Yeah, he was. I think. He did. Legitimately in high school, he was covering him.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's been with him from day one. So, I mean, you would think if anybody's good, but he's obviously completely biased on anything he's going to say. He's going to favor LeBron James.
He went out there and he furthered the lie. That's what he did.
Well, is he going to follow LeBron to L.A. next year? People believe that's what's going on, and not the Clippers, the Lakers. They, for whatever reason, Vegas has got them as huge favorites now over the 76ers, Houston, Cleveland, and Boston in that order for where he's going to go. Not sure what's gone on. I don't know if it's any kind of like chatter that's been happening, but they think that is the place it's going to go on. Miami's now in 9th place in the odds, and we talked about that yesterday here on the show, and the math just doesn't add up for Miami doing it, and there's not a lot of reason for it other than D-Wade.
That's not really even much of a reason in the first place.
Well, no.
Yeah, no.
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore, because, I mean, look, I'm wearing a Miami Heat shirt right now, and I'm going to say this. It doesn't make sense for LeBron to come to the Heat unless they can get a Kawhi Leonard or Paul George to come with him. Otherwise, there's just not enough
Mathematically, there's just no way, right?
Yeah, it would be the same thing as in Cleveland. He would make it to the finals and then lose because they don't have enough to beat Houston or Golden State.
The reason why Vegas has Los Angeles as the number one, LA, the Lakers, is because they're the only team right now that can be able to take 2 max contracts.
Yeah,
the only team in the NBA that can actually afford 2 max contracts without unloading players.
Is Paul George a max contract?
He would be a max contract.
He would be a max contract.
So would Kawhi.
And I don't think anybody can pay Kawhi like the Spurs, right? I mean, what they have available.
I don't think
he would get his best financial deal there.
Yeah, because Kawhi is being offered supposedly the supermax there.
209 or 219.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lakers would be able to do that, but also, I mean, this is the thing is that like Kawhi's already won a ring. He's been a Finals MVP. So I mean, like, is he ring chasing at this point in time? It seems make more sense for Paul George to go because he wants a shot.
And the Paul George storyline makes more sense because this is something that Cleveland actually tried to get done before the trade deadline, was to get Paul George to come to Cleveland. So this is somebody that LeBron has vocalized to that front office anyway that he does want to play with. So it would make sense.
Is he going into a little bit of a problem? I don't know much about the dynamics of the Lakers. I don't watch them much, West Coast, but Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma that's out there. They're both rookies.
Are they teammates?
Yeah, both first rounders. Yeah, same team. And it's kind of weird because they've got like this passive-aggressive, competitive kind of thing that's going on, and Lonzo Ball dropped this diss track.
Oh, of course he did.
That is going on, and you got to wonder, okay, does this mean anything? Is this bad at all? He called it Kylie Kuzma, which...
Oh, he actually is calling him out with a woman's name. Like, he's not hiding it at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a diss track. Here's a little bit of it.
The only difference, you ain't hitting none. Usually do this shit for fun, but trust me, boy, I'm not the one. If you the bullet, I'm the gun. If you the pot, I'm cooking some. You won't smoke, you can get it. Dressing for attention. Trying to be Russell Westbrook, you just honorable mention. I'll kill you with each sentence. To me, you just a peasant. Triple B's is independent. Kuzmania can't reinvent it.
Okay.
Yeah, he did say Kuzma in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely about him, and I think the Lakers management is having to step in a little bit and saying, all right, because think about the courting process right now. And this may be something that's just fun between these two guys, and they get it, and they know it, and that's just what they do. And between them, it might be a joke. You know how Ricky Bobby rips on Diener here every day. It might be friendly kind of stuff.
Because he needs it, that's why.
But they may have that exact same kind of relationship, but I think that the Lakers management is getting a little bit nervous because if you're LeBron, you don't fully understand that dynamic, and this is a well-publicized diss track that's going on. The last thing he wants to do is move his family all the way across the country. I know he does already have a house there, but you move your family into a young team that's got dysfunction, and that might be the one thing. LeBron, at the age of 33, is not going to tolerate like high school diss games and diss tracks and all that kind of stuff. It's not what he and D Wade were doing their 4 years together in Miami.
Yeah.
And does he want to move into all this kind of stuff? And then keep in mind, too, I mean, freaking Lonzo Ball's dad, that nutbag.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I mean, LeVar Ball thrown into the mix.
Kim Kardashian of sports, that dude.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard him on yesterday with Colin Cowherd, and you're just like, luckily Colin did not back down to this guy, but you're just listening the entire time. This guy's a freaking head case, man.
He's a complete joke.
I mean, it's like throwing Kanye West as a manager into the mix of the team. It's like, imagine Kanye West were the coach.
Yes.
Well, I think he actually makes Kanye West seem tame.
He does.
Sure. So, I mean, if whatever it is Vegas sees, they think the Lakers is the place where LeBron is going to wind up. But, I mean, you are walking into this that two of your big young stars, it's a questionable relationship. And then you got a dad in there that's always and constantly stoking fires. And then, too, is the money going to work out?
And how mad
that's the big thing.
How mad would Laker fans be if this stupid diss track ended up costing them their chance at LeBron James?
I think that's right now why Lakers management is saying, guys, come on, man, not now. Like now we are really putting the full court press on LeBron, trying to get him to LA. You guys have to release this right now and make it look like maybe there's chaos between our two young stars.
And there's something else weird going on with LA too, because not only has Vegas now just inexplicably put them as the favorite to land LeBron, but last week you had all these entertainment groups that come out, 4 or 5 different entertainment groups were saying that we think LeBron is, they said LeBron James is coming to LA. Yeah. I mean, they were saying this last week.
Stephen Smith came out and said that he was like, it wasn't even before the finals was over.
Yeah.
He said he's definitely 100% going to LA.
There's something weird going on. That's the same thing that happened down here.
But see, this is the thing with Paul George, though, is that Paul George is still on contract next year. He's not a free agent until until 2019.
Yeah, but there's different ways.
19, he's owed $20 million. So they have to find, if they want to bring Paul George over there, they have to find a way to be able to pull that in.
There's different ways.
Pay him.
Yeah, there's ways they can do it, and those are things they pay attention to. Like when he came down to Miami, there was some different movement going around with shoe companies that was going on behind the scenes that tip people off.
I'm telling you, the more smoke and drama you got around your team, I think that's going to be a big factor for where LeBron decides to go, is just how dysfunctional. And he knows dysfunction is hard to win championships.
It's true.
Where will LeBron wind up? Coming up here in a couple minutes, Bryce Harper is garbage.
Okay.
That's basically what one NL exec is saying. I'll let you know exactly why. And going to play that fun game. Guess the Marlins attendance.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah. How many of you think they put in the seats at Marlins Park last night? You'll find out next.
You can tell his wife. Just don't tell those other guys. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
There it is.
Diener dropped this on me earlier today. He just came in, he played it real quick, and then he walked out. And then I'm sitting here with Ricky Bobby. I'm like going, why am I singing Jam On in my head? And then I kept hearing that part, the wiki, 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 wiki.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like going, wait, did he say Ricky, shut up? And I'm like, that'd be a great little drop for Diener over there, but I think it's wiki, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been good.
But that was driving me completely crazy. I'm like, why did that song from 1984 just suddenly pop into my head?
Paul, you were like deep in concentration before the show, and I was previewing some rejoins.
It was bothering Ricky Bobby. It was bothering the heck of me. I'm like, well, why is this in my head?
He was so hung up on it.
It was like subliminal.
I was.
It
I'm like,
snuck in there.
Freaking losing my mind.
There it is. That was the answer.
Losing my mind. The Marlins last night, man, they look good playing the Giants.
Yeah, man.
Playing the Giants, but, it's all good. And they're facing off against some young pitching as well, 3-1.
That's right.
Marlins Park. How big was that crowd? A buddy of mine was there, and he was sitting in the Clevelander, and he tweeted at me a photo. And I hit back. I'm like, is the attendance 2? Because did you see the photo? It was him and his wife sitting at a table. No one was around. There's not one person in the seats. Either he got there at noon or there was nobody there. I don't know what was going on.
I did see that. I came across that. I didn't know that was one of your buddies. So when I saw it, I'm like, I maybe thought it was a picture you came across on Twitter. And there's nobody in the background.
No one, yeah.
It's just blue seats. I thought the same thing. Is this 2 hours before the game? This is impossible.
Yeah, it's such a noticeable color, and I don't know if this would work, but maybe if they painted the seats like flesh color,
Yeah,
maybe
that's what they should do.
That should be something or maybe they could paint fake people in the
Yes.
seats, and then that way, from a distance, like, oh my gosh, the stadium's packed.
Maybe-
It's great.
Like the old HOV lane trick, you put the dummy in your car
Yeah.
and make the cops think it's somebody in the
I
car
think
with
it'd be
you.
brilliant. That might be something the Marlins want to look into. Paint actual fake bodies into those seats.
It's not that bad. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, last night's attendance, your guess, Ricky Bobby, how many people were there officially in attendance at Marlins Park for that big win to go against the Giants?
3,700.
Okay.
That's a tough number.
Diener.
Dang, that's a tough number. Jeez. All right, I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 4,368.
4,368.
Yeah.
You're closer.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't giving them a lot of credit. I mean, it's not always negative. It was 4,900 or 5,928.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I can't steal 1,000 away from them. That's a big
Don't do
thousand.
that.
Not expecting it. Well, I mean, your story set it up like there was nobody there. So.
There wasn't in that picture. There
Guys,
was not a
honestly,
body.
when we're sitting here and we're saying $6,000, 6,000 people at a Major League Baseball game.
It's not good. No. It's
Yeah,
not
okay.
good. Yeah, no, I know that. I know
Yeah,
that.
you're like going, guys. You're like, Kev, that's a great crowd. I mean,
It's a good
that's how.
Marlins crowd.
Yeah, when you're trying to argue with me that like 6,000 people, like, dude, we got to be happy about that. Yeah, Miami's won the first 2 games in the 4-game series. Trevor Richards, the rookie, got his first win. Looking to see what the young guys are doing.
Nice.
Yeah, he held the Giants to a 1 run, 2 hits, both singles in the 6th inning. Looked pretty good. Cool thing that's going to be going down, though, is actually you might want to pay more attention to some of the Giants pitchers the next 2 games. Pudge Rodriguez's kid is going to be on the mound tonight.
Really?
cool.
Yeah, Derek, who was with his dad when the Marlins won the World Series in 2003. He was 11 years old then, but spent a lot of time in the locker room, and he said it's kind of cool to kind of like walk through the halls and see pictures of my dad up on the wall. He played high school at Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, and then he was at Miami Pace his senior year. And then Andrew Suarez. Actually, no, he's going to be starting tonight's game for the Giants. He pitched at Columbus High in Miami and then was a Canes pitcher for a couple years. He made 2 appearances in the 2015 College World Series.
So you got a couple of Miami guys going against each other.
Yeah, well, no, they're on the same team, but it's going to be the next 2 nights for the Giants.
Fair
They're
enough.
both Miami guys.
I've lost track there.
Yeah, I
My
hear you.
apologies.
It's very confusing. Very confusing.
Oh, who the hell are you?
What?
Where am I?
What's going on? Where are my pants?
Why do I hear Gem on it?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Bryce Harper is basically garbage.
How so?
Wow.
There's a top NL exec that says Bryce Harper is a, quote, losing player and is, quote, simply overrated.
Wow.
I don't know if he's trying to set a tone here for free agency because they're expecting Bryce Harper to command maybe as much as $400 million or more.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a 10-year deal. He's going to be a free agent after the season. He's 25 years old. His numbers are good. He's hitting .228, 19 home runs, which leads the NL, and he's got 43 RBIs. Not bad. His batting average is a little bit low right now. Comparatively, like Stanton is hitting .240, 15 home runs, and 34 RBIs. Yankees fans are actually still kind of making that argument. Well, we could trade away Stanton and get. But I mean, is that right now? It looks like Harper's going to be making more than Stanton.
Yes.
So I mean, those are pretty comparable numbers, right? I mean, would you want to make the deal? I mean, other than just getting a left-handed hitter, and they say that might be why they want to do what they do.
That's pretty much the main difference there. I want to know who this was. Is it? Wouldn't that be
He's
funny?
anonymous. He's being a total, P. I mean,
course.
come on, dude. If you're gonna like make a statement like that,
Yeah,
come
exactly.
On.
How funny would
you
this
can't- you
be?
can't
Put your
throw out a
name on it.
Well, yeah, you make a garbage statement like that, which 99% of people are going to disagree with, and you got to think, okay, this guy is just probably trying to position himself for whatever reasons to start the narrative that Bryce Harper's not worth the money.
He's either trying to scare somebody away so he can have dibs on him, or
he's
it's
trying to lower the price.
Or it's somebody from the Nationals who is upset knowing that he's about to lose Bryce Harper, so now he's
it
just
could
being
have totally
a jerk.
been
Right?
a Nationals exec.
How
doing
great would
this.
that be?
You know, in this case, it's usually the person who wants him that's creating the rumor, especially if you stay anonymous on it.
That's just garbage.
More,
It's so garbage. You got to see through what it is.
Oh no, absolutely, but it's just more than none. It is that other is the way that whoever wants him is going to put out that thing. But remember when Leo was in here, we were talking about him. We were saying that he goes, I don't want both of them on the team.
Stanton and Harper.
Yeah, I want Harper.
Yeah.
And then you trade Stanton to the Dodgers and get me Clayton Kershaw. That's a team that's going to win for a long time.
Yeah, they're
So-
trying to keep the payroll $200 million or less. That's the Yankees' goal.
Well,
So
if you're going to pay Bryce Harper $40 million a year, then that's a big chunk coming out right there.
Gonna make it a bit tough.
Yeah.
yeah,
Better get the old accountant out. Fire
bit.
up the abacus.
just curious. I'm not sure when Mike Trout's deal's up, but did you see what he did? 4 home runs in last two games.
I'm pretty sure nobody's seen what he's. I don't even know. Does he still look the same? Like, I mean, like, I don't even know.
he's phenomenal
These are two
shape. Yeah, he's jacked.
gigantic baseball players in baseball.
We don't see him a lot because
90% of them couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah, I know. Being West Coast, you kind of get lost in the mix. But he's hitting 310, 23 home runs.
He has 23 home runs?
23, and keep in mind, leading the NL is 19. He's got 4 more than that, 44 RBIs. They're saying his eventual numbers could break some records at the end of the year.
Man, Trout is just killing it. It's amazing how we just don't hear about this stuff.
No.
Why isn't Mike Trout marketed? Why? I mean, he's such a marketable person.
Yeah.
He's clean cut. He plays in L.A.
The only thing I can think is it's still that East Coast bias. I mean, they claim it for every sport out there, college football especially. They're like saying it's never fair for a Heisman Trophy guy that's on the West Coast. I mean, before you had Mariota of Oregon, they're going, these West Coast guys, well, I guess you had some from USC, but that's the argument they always make is they're always trying to say, look, East Coast sports writers, make sure you're watching because these games are on a lot of times 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast.
That's just amazing. And I mean, they have 2 guys. They have Ohtani and they have Mike Trout, and you never hear about these guys.
Yeah.
Ohtani's like a Babe Ruth throwback. And he's just never talked about. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's baseball.
Got to tell you, if you want to make baseball awesome, what you need to do is you need to start miking people up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You got to start miking people up a little bit more because 2 years ago, this is a game when Terry Collins was managing the Mets, and the audio's just surfaced today. It's magnificent.
I'm so happy it did.
When you ever hear or see the managers out there, and this is the thing, you see the managers that are in the umpire's face, and you're like, what are they saying? They're very upset, but what's going on? Terry Collins was mic'd up for this. And there's going to be a lot of bleeps, but it's pretty fantastic audio that went down. You're going to hear that coming up next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, #Kevin's Other Show.
I love baseball. I do. I'm a big baseball fan. Is my number one sport as a kid growing up until football overtook it. But I realize that baseball's massively flawed.
Oh, yeah.
Massively flawed in so many ways. And I just sit there and I've got probably a list of about 45 different things that if I could become the commish and just run roughshod over this sport and change what needs to be changed, I would do it overnight.
Just give you like a week. Get it done.
Yeah, seriously. Just give me a night, honestly.
I was going to say just a couple hours.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Definitive
honestly,
power.
give me 30 minutes because I got it in my head. I would sit down and I'd be like going, boom, okay. We're going to get this thing done. I mean, one of the things we were talking about yesterday is the disparity in lengths of the fences and the ballparks. It just, jacks up all your numbers based on where you played and how good your numbers were. Another thing I would add to it, you got to mic up these guys and you got to have a little bit more of that, like, okay, let's hear what is going on. And it was kind of funny because they are starting to do this a little bit more. And I saw a video, can't remember who it was. There was a baseball player that it was mic'd up and he was out there and they're trying this process now at the MLB Network. And as soon as everyone else on the team realized he was mic'd up, it was like he had leprosy.
Yeah, he just ran away from him.
People, like everybody on the team's like, dude, get away from me, man.
Yeah.
I don't need this because I know how social media goes. Somebody's going to grab this. It's going to be all over the place. I'm going to have to be answering questions.
Yep.
We're baseball players. We know we're heathens.
Oh, yeah, it's bad in that dugout.
Could you imagine if there had been hidden cameras and microphones in the 86 Mets and who knows what other teams are going on? What you would have seen?
An X-rated
What
movie.
going on? Everybody from that lineup would be in prison still.
Oh, Daryl Strawberry.
Drug charges, prostitution charges.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
We're not exaggerating at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Here's some mic'd up audio. This is just kind of coming out. It's from 2 years ago. Noah Syndergaard for the Mets got thrown out of a game when he threw a 99-mile-per-hour fastball a foot behind Chase Utley. And there was, the typical back and forth that was going on. I think that, somebody from the Mets got plunked in NLDS, and this is your payback, and that's just how baseball works. Well, it went out, and the umpire is like going, no, dude, Noah Syndergaard, you're out. Hit the showers, man. You just didn't do it the right way. You got to almost kind of like try to make it look like you're not sitting there and head hunting. Well, former Mets manager Terry Collins, he comes out and he's mic'd up and he is not happy. And here's the exchange with him in the umpire's face.
Take him. Terry. to me about that. Okay.
You gotta give us a shot.
You know what?
You gotta give us a shot,
Okay,
Tom.
listen to me. Let me hear what I'm saying, okay? You get your shot. You had your shot right there. In the situation.
Well, why
you
not?
know the situation,
I know
Terry.
it. Why don't we get a shot, Tommy?
Because that makes Terry, that makes it
This is chaos.
The MLB did nothing to that guy. Nothing.
Okay, that I can't control that, Terry. I can't control that. You know as well as I do where I stand on the whole situation. But that's
better than that, Tommy. You know that.
Terry, listen, I'm telling you, our ass is in the jackpot now. Okay?
What?
Okay, I'm just telling you. You got everything out?
You got everything out.
But I just love that he knows. He's just got to, and I think part of it, too, is both the umpires and the managers, they realize they got to put on a certain kind of a show. I mean, look at what Billy Martin used to do. I mean, it's kind of like that whole thing where it's like, we've got to give a show for the crowd because the crowd demands this kind of whatever it is, just the dance that happens in baseball. And that's just what managers do. You remember that one manager in the minor leagues a couple years ago that was crawling like an Army guy in the outfield?
Right.
And he grabbed the rosin bag and threw it like it was a grenade.
Never forget that. That's a classic.
He was ripping the bases out, and he went on for 10 people. It was classic. People loved it. Like, this is absolutely fantastic. He just went on and on and on.
Yeah, I was listening to the audio, and it's interesting to see the exchange between the manager and the umpire. But what he was saying is we can't do anything. Our ass is in the jackpot now, is because he's saying you had your shot and your pitcher screwed up, so I have to throw him out. But if you didn't screw it up and he hit him, I wasn't going to throw him out. That's ridiculous to me.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't understand. It's so now an umpire is out there admitting that this is what they're doing, that they know these hidden rules, and they're just going to roll with these hidden rules. And he even says in part of the clip, he goes, you know how I feel about this.
He did.
But I couldn't do anything about it.
It's so bizarre. It really is just how baseball kind of does all these things that I guess honestly, a person walking into baseball that has common sense would be like, this makes no sense.
No.
Yes. This does make no sense. I don't know if you guys saw the backlash that happened. You guys saw the clip the other day. The two baseball teams that were in the sectional game in Minnesota.
Right.
The pitcher facing the batter, and they were childhood friends. And the pitcher struck out his childhood friend to win the game. Somebody tries to grab the pitcher to start celebrating on the mound, but he goes around the guy, and he goes up to the batter, and he's hugging him and consoling him and saying, dude, it's a game, and I'm sorry, and hey, you played a great game and all that kind of stuff. And then after, he gives a little bit of time there, he goes out on the mound to celebrate with his teammates. And he is getting ripped apart on social media.
Why? It's such a nice thing to do.
Half the people are supporting him because, he said, our friendship is more important than just the silly outcome of a game. I had to make sure that he knew that before we celebrated, which that seems like the sportsman thing to do. But here's some of the comments that are on the video.
Here we go.
It says, this makes me shake with rage the more I see it. As I said elsewhere, this offends me as a youth football coach who preaches killer instinct to my players.
Offends me?
I would make a player who did this hold his championship ring as I blowtorch it and melt it because he doesn't deserve it. Another comment says, yeah, that's right. Intimidation should never stop. I knew guys like you in high school. I'm their boss now.
That's terrible. And one of those people is teaching our children?
I'm in stunned silence. I was about to say, if I am having my kid on that coach's team, I'm saying, guys, time to go across city to the other team. Are you kidding me?
Another comment says, this is absolutely embarrassing. You have one moment to celebrate with your teammates who busted their tails with you, and you're going to console a friend who's upset?
Oh, shut up.
Kid is about as soft as it gets. Winners win and embrace it. Take this garbage somewhere else.
Kev, you're making me angry. Okay. I've got rage building up right now.
It's funny. There are a lot of people in the game saying, yes, this is how you're trained. You don't do this. This is candy-ass stuff, kid. Come on, man. We don't have to worry about his feelings. It's a game. You expect to strike out. Some people win. Some people lose. You're like, oh, I hope I didn't hurt your feelings by striking you out.
What is happening? Wow. I'm so confused.
It's really it's unnecessary to be like that. I mean, it's different to them than it is to everyone else. If it was just some dude and he struck him out, he would just immediately celebrate it, but he's a lifelong friend.
Yeah.
He wasn't over there, and honestly, he probably wasn't over there consoling him. He was just probably saying, hey, I got you, bub. And then it was it.
You guys say like, the line in hockey when they shake hands after the game, that's no good anymore?
That
I feel
that should be done more. I feel like that's
absolutely.
That should be more.
I feel like Terry Collins right now. And I know what Terry Collins felt like in his rant.
It was all, yeah. It was all pretty unreal. All right, got a couple closing things here. One, yeah, baby, Miami going to get some World Cup action in 2026.
Can't
Yay,
wait.
us.
I want none of this.
I want it all. Let's go.
I want none of this.
It's going to be split between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, but the U.S., out of like 80 games, is getting 60 of them. They say Miami is rumored to be one of the host cities. So
I'm going.
That's going to be happening as the World Cup gets going on tomorrow. You've also got the Florida Panthers coming out with a new logo to celebrate their 25th anniversary.
Another new logo?
Another one.
I think a lot of people think that the new Panther is a snowflake. Come on, man. We want a Panther that attacks. That thing looks like he's like at glamour shots.
We need to be more intense.
Yeah. I can only hear that.
We don't want any Panthers that hug people.
And I think ESPN's doing a good thing here. The family members of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School heroes, Aaron Feist, Scott Bagel, and Chris Hickson, are going to receive ESPY awards July 18th. Now, they did that whole kind of like hero award, and that's going to be going to the victims at Michigan State from that horrible doctor, Nasser, that was there. But I think this is a good move. If you ever needed to give out multiple awards, this would be the year.
Well, this is something. I was really happy to see this because we were talking a few months ago when everything happened
Aaron
at
Feist should be getting that award.
The Courage Award. And now they're giving it to all three. It's actually Coach of the Year. They're giving the Coach of the Year award. So
I like
it's amazing.
They're in the same company as Phil Jackson and Bill Belichick, who won the award previously. So I feel like this is a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Good on them.
By ESPN. So we give ESPN a lot of crap, but when they do something good.
We'll give them some credit on this one.
Don't worry. They'll find some way to screw that up one way or another.
No, tomorrow,
one will be fine, but the rest of it, they'll screw something else up.
You get a pass for a day.
Yeah.
For a day, yes, just for one day.
They'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Check out the show. It's on YouTube. You got a podcast as well. We're on Twitter. All you got to do is just find Kevin's other show.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's other show on 640 The Hurricane.